WVII Bangor.
This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
The trial for a Corunna man accused of endangering the welfare of a child continued yesterday. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. That story is coming up. Also, the Penobscot County Grand Jury has indicted an Orono man in connection with an incident that left a Brewer police officer injured. And a Mainer who now lives in Florida will share his experience with Hurricane Ian. That's coming up along with the rest of our stories. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. First, let's check in with meteorologist Conrad Sapinski. Conrad?
Thank you so much, Susan. Our first weather today is brought to you by Luigi and Fredericks across from Eastern Maine Medical Center, serving the greater Bangor area for over 65 years. All right, so let's get right into these cooler temperatures. It's still September, and we're already talking about some freeze warnings that will be in effect overnight until 8 a.m. on Friday, and then some frost advisories where temperatures will be just a little bit warmer in those low to mid 30s. So colder temperatures have arrived, and they will continue to move in overnight, especially by that morning commute tomorrow. Right now, we are in the clear. Just a few passing clouds across the state. Most of the precipitation is well offshore, so we are in the clear. Our muggy meter doesn't show much. We'll be in the clear. Dew points will be low, so that means we will feel very comfortable outside, even with those cooler temperatures. So get ready. It will be nice outside today. Temperatures around 62 degrees, partly cloudy skies sticking around. Tonight's going to be a cooler one, temperatures in those mid-30s, but there will be frost, especially north of Bangor, with those mostly clear skies. But later on today, though, we will warm up as sunshine returns and temperatures hover in the lower 60s. Susan?
Thank you, Conrad. The trial for a Corunna man accused of endangering the welfare of a child after his infant daughter overdosed involved more witness testimony in its second day in session. Devin Dagnall has the story.
The trial continued for 27-year-old Zachary Borg, who was accused of unlawful furnishing of drugs to a minor and endangering the welfare of a child. The prosecutor, Chelsea Linz, presented evidence of Sergeant Detective Trask interviewing Borg shortly after the night Borg's daughter overdosed. Throughout the interview, Trask asked multiple times if Borg felt he was in an adequate state of mind for the interview. When he was cross-examined by defense attorney Harris Matson, Trask says he would not have conducted the interview if at any point he thought Borg was under the influence or not able to think properly. During the presented interview, Borg discussed with Trask how he obtained what he identified as fentanyl on the night in question and where the substances were ingested. According to Borg, he got the substance from a complete stranger that he invited into his home, and they were later joined by two additional strangers who all allegedly took the drugs in the house. Borg said that at one point, one of the strangers claimed to have lost a bag of fentanyl, and it was not recovered. Borg's defense argues that since Borg did not know with certainty that the substance was in his home, that he could not be held accountable for unlawfully furnishing drugs to a minor. The prosecution argued the fact that Borg invited individuals into an area where his children were known to occupy, even if they were not at the time on the premises, is reason enough for him to be charged with unlawful furnishing. Closing statements are expected to be made on Thursday. In Bangor, I'm Devin Dagnall, reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22.
The Penobscot County Grand Jury has indicted an Orono man in connection with an incident that left a Brewer police officer injured. 25-year-old Richard May was indicted on charges of assaulting an officer and refusing to submit to arrest. Officers were called to the backside of the Brewer Walmart for a man in crisis in July. Police say when one of the officers tried to approach May, an altercation ensued. The officer sustained a head injury and whiplash. 3 people were also indicted in connection with alleged drug distribution from a home in Hamden. 31-year-old Dwayne Henry and 31-year-old Andy Paccio from Springfield, Massachusetts were indicted on charges of aggravated drug trafficking and unlawful trafficking of scheduled drugs, as well as criminal forfeiture. 37-year-old Jessica Bell of Hamden was indicted for aggravated drug trafficking and unlawful drug trafficking. The grand jury indicted 2 people in connection with a drug investigation in Hancock County. 25-year-old Braille Hernandez Perez and 28-year-old Michaela Antonio Arias Abar of Massachusetts were indicted for aggravated trafficking in scheduled drugs. The Maine State Police have arrested a man for alleged domestic violence and possession of cocaine. On September 19th, authorities responded to a reported domestic assault where the complainant said 34-year-old Jose Eduardo Torres Garcia assaulted and threatened her with a knife. State troopers worked directly with the state police tactical team and located Torres Garcia the following day. He was arrested for domestic violence terrorizing with a dangerous weapon. Police say he was also in possession of 44 grams of cocaine during the time of his arrest. Augusta police are asking for the public's help as they investigate a robbery at the Big Apple store on Stone Street. It happened just after 10 Tuesday night. According to Deputy Chief Kevin Lully, the caller said an unidentified man entered the store, displayed a gun, and demanded an undisclosed amount of money and merchandise. The alleged suspect fled before police arrived. He's described as a white male between 5'3" and 5'7". He weighs between 160 and 180 pounds and wore a black mask, black hoodie-style sweatshirt, dark-colored shoes, a red-brimmed hat, and light-colored jeans. The incident is still under investigation. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Augusta Police Department Criminal Investigations Division at 626-2370, extension 3148. Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, Election Day is a few weeks away, and when we return, we'll hear the latest from Governor Mills and her challenger, former Governor Paul LePage. That's next. We'll be right back.
Mainers work hard, but Joe Biden's inflation is making life miserable. Heating oil costs are crushing Maine families. I'm Bruce Poliquin, and for too many, this means choosing between gas, groceries, or freezing. Biden and all Democrats created this mess, and they're making it worse. Congress needs more Maine common sense, not more spending on those who won't work or more taxes on those who do. I'm Bruce Poliquin, and I approve this message because Maine needs a congressman who will stand up to Biden and help Maine families.
Hey, Red Sox fans, you've got to play You Pick 'em Red Sox at foxbangor.com. Local weekly winners receive prizes. Register now at foxbangor.com. You Pick 'em Red Sox is sponsored by Twin City Tint in Brewer, Comfort Shoes and More in Newport, Saliba's Rug Cleaners in Bangor, and Twin City Tile in Brewer.
At Home Kitchen, Bath, and Flooring in Dover Foxcroft are proud members of the Flooring Network here in Maine. We have our flooring installers on staff ready for you and your custom flooring project. With over 50 years of combined experience, we'll work with you from start to finish, including demo and cleanup. Backed by the Flooring Network's state-of-the-art warehouses, we have a massive inventory to provide you with the best value and fit any flooring budget you may have. So stop in, meet our flooring experts, and see what we can do to make you feel at home.
In Maine, it's always buying season. And at Thornton Brothers in Lincoln, we carry new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Rams for your buying season. Here at Thornton Brothers, we'll help you find the right vehicle specifically for you to suit your lifestyle. As they say, the proof is in the performance. So come on over and test drive a real vehicle from a real dealership, or place your order with us and see why it really is buying season here in Maine. Thornton Brothers, Main Street, Lincoln.
It's an exciting week on Wheel.
It's huge, yeah.
It's really big.
It's really, really big, actually.
Because we're celebrating some of America's greatest teachers.
Yeah. Very nice.
And with so many subjects.
Economics.
Vocabulary. Science.
Get ready for some serious schooling.
Wow.
It's Teachers Week on Wheel.
How exciting is that?
I love it.
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Paul LePage took aim at drug policies yesterday, claiming some of the state's current strategies are helping to fuel overdoses and crime. The former governor also claimed the taxpayer funds are being used to distribute safe injection and smoking materials. Dan Lamparello tells us the concerns and why not everyone agrees.
Using Deering Oaks Park as a backdrop, former Governor Paul LePage claiming drug use is driving up not only overdose deaths, but also crime.
The drug trade is driving people out of the city and destroying the way of life for too many Maine families.
LePage taking aim at his successor's strategies, alleging the Mills administration is promoting the use of so-called safe injection and smoking materials with the help of a grant from the federal government, which has allowed some nonprofits to distribute harm reduction kits in parts of the state.
So the holistic process of treating drugs with giving people clean needles and more drugs and crack pipes is not working.
The most recent state data shows nearly 400 people in Maine have died of a suspected overdose so far this year. It's a crisis LePage claims current strategies are only making worse, even targeting the life-saving overdose reversal drug, Narcan.
I'm all in to providing Narcan for a person who is on the ground consciously dying and bringing them back. I'm all in. But I'm not all in doing it 4 and 5 times a week to the same person. And my problem is this: if you pay for your drugs, you gotta stop paying for Narcan until after the first dose.
But for those in recovery, they believe charging for Narcan could have unintended consequences.
I couldn't imagine a Maine right now without easily accessible and readily available naloxone. I keep it in my purse, I keep it in my car, I keep it everywhere.
Courtney Gary Allen is with the Maine Recovery Advocacy Project, and she credits those types of harm reduction programs with helping her and many others gain sobriety.
That's what naloxone does. That's what harm reduction does in the state of Maine, is keep our family members alive.
In response to LePage's claims today, a spokesperson for Governor Mills wrote in a statement, "The state of Maine provides funding to organizations that practice proven harm reduction services, including certified syringe exchange programs, which is an evidence-based harm reduction strategy that is strongly endorsed by the American Medical Association." Despite that, though, LePage was adamant he'd do things differently.
This is outrageous. For most Mainers, it is insane. As governor, I will put a stop to it.
Of the things former Governor LePage says he would do is increase the number of detox beds across the state, specifically within the state prison system, while the State Department of Corrections says it has invested heavily in a medication-assisted treatment program. The former governor says that is still not enough.
Governor Janet Mills' re-election campaign says it has raised almost $5 million to date. According to a release, the campaign says they've raised $4.8 million so far. This includes roughly $993,000 raised between July 20th and September 20th of this year. It's due to the 9,800 contributions from roughly 7,400 donors. According to the LePage campaign, it's raised a little over $2,245,000 to date. That includes over $442,000 raised between July and September. It also included over 18,000 unique donations from over 7,000 unique donors for the campaign. The Food and Drug Administration is now proposing new restrictions for using the healthy claim on food packaging. According to the FDA, roughly 5% of packaged food products are labeled as healthy. The agency regulates the claim and first defined it in 1994. Now, the FDA wants to update the definition to match current nutrition science. In order to have the claim healthy on their packaging, the FDA says products would need to contain a certain amount of food from at least one of the recommended food groups. They would also have to cut certain nutrients that are bad for you, such as sodium and added sugars. With Thursday's business news, here's Leo Jonathan.
The Nasdaq hit the closing bell up 2.1% Wednesday. The S&P closed 2% higher, and the Dow finished up 1.9%. Porsche is about to go public. Volkswagen, parent company of the luxury car brand, is getting set for an IPO tomorrow. The initial price is set at just under $80 a share. Amazon is offering a way to help you track your sleep. The new Halo Rise is a bedside device that can sense how you're sleeping. It'll also wake you up with music and lights that simulate a sunrise. The Halo Rise will be available later this year for $140. And the idea of quiet quitting, workers doing exactly what their job description says without going above and beyond, may lead to quiet firing. The Wall Street Journal says bosses may start to quiet sideline workers who don't go beyond their job description. I'm Leo Jonathan with Thursday's Business on ABC 7.
An Amish market that burned down in central Maine earlier this year is now back open. In January, the Amish Community Market and Bakery in Unity burned down. The cause of the fire was never determined. Several employees had to evacuate the store, but no one was hurt. The store was a big part of not just the Amish community, but the community at large. The local bishop says the store is back open thanks in part to generosity of people who sent donations and letters of support.
I think it's changed the way that I feel and view the general public. Is just there's a kindness and a generosity there that I would not have given much thought.
The store just reopened last week after rebuilding since the winter. Amish leaders say it's been very busy ever since. Coming up as winter approaches, the city of Bangor wants to clean up the homeless encampments around the city. We'll take a look at the plan when we return.
Do you have leaky pipes? Are you planning a plumbing job? Is your heating system working right? Are you designing a plumbing project? Then contact Harley's Plumbing and Heating Plus.
If your toilet will not flush, Harley will be there in a rush. Furnace bit the dust today. Harley crew is on the way. Harley Plumbing, Harley Heating. 990-2200.
Call now.
Harley!
Call or visit online.
Established in 1925, Bangor Floral has been a premier provider of beautiful floral arrangements and thoughtful gifts for almost 100 years. Whatever the occasion, our premium collection of colorful blooms, blossoming plants, and gift baskets have warmed hearts for generations. We strongly support the Buy Local movement, purchasing directly from local farms and growers, and we are committed to the preservation of our environment. Bangor Floral, located at 332 Harlow Street. Stop in today to experience a flower shop like no other.
When Ryan White of Hartley's in Newport wants to know his weather, he logs on to foxbangor.com. Ryan has been with Hartley's for 3 years, and he looks to make your buying experience fast, fun, and easy, and with multiple repeat customers, it's fair to say you won't be disappointed.
If you were hurt because of exposure to the toxic water at Camp Lejeune, Congress has made it possible for you to recover a settlement. Former Marine attorney James Beardsley wants to help you.
Call now to see if you qualify. Call 222-2222.
Don't believe the lies from Washington's special interests. Jared Golden's a different type of Democrat.
I respect that Jared served in the Marines.
Jared's a friend of law enforcement, and we definitely can trust him to keep our communities and families safe.
Jared is standing strongly against defunding the police.
This endorsement was not a given. Congressman Golden's earned it.
Mr. Golden will definitely fight for us and be in our corner and have our backs, absolutely.
I'm Jared Golden, and I'm honored to approve this message.
The road to the Tournament of Champions is filled with incredible streaks.
23-day,
38-day,
40-day champion.
Heartbreaking upsets.
Oh, you bet everything.
And brushes with greatness. This fall, it all starts with the first ever Jeopardy! Second Chance competition, when 18 returning contestants face off for a shot against legends hungry for the ultimate title. This is what you've been waiting for. It's the biggest Jeopardy! Tournament of Champions ever.
All this week at 7:30, only on ABC7.
Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center says changes are in place that will simplify screenings for incoming patients and reopen entrances that have been closed since 2020. Patients coming to the medical center will now be screened at the main entrance. Visitors coming to the medical center will check in and out at the main entrance information desk. Those with appointments in the Weber buildings may enter through the Weber East or West entrance. Entrances A, B, and C at Northern Light Health Center at Union Street are now open. Patients, staff, and visitors are required to wear a surgical-grade mask provided by Northern Light Health, regardless of vaccination status. Everyone is asked to wear a mask over their nose and mouth at all times. The state of Maine has a new pilot program for people caring for loved ones with dementia or a disability. The Respite for Me program will provide grants of up to $2,000. The money will come from the governor's Maine Jobs and Recovery Plan through Respite for Me. Family caregivers for people living with a disability, Alzheimer's disease, or other related dementias may receive grants to help them access respite care for their loved one. Caregivers can also get counseling and training, legal and financial guidance, as well as services to maintain their own health. The 2-year program, developed in partnership with 5 of Maine's area agencies on aging, begins on Monday. Fall is underway, and while the temperatures are dropping for many of us, that doesn't mean we can let our guards down when it comes to ticks. With more, here's ABC's Ike Ojachi.
Ticks live in the same places you might be spending time outside this fall, like your backyard, the woods, or fields. It's important to check your clothes and pets for ticks after being outside. If you find a tick on your body, the CDC recommends grasping the tick with clean tweezers as close to your skin as possible and steadily pulling away to remove the tick. Clean your hands and the bite area with soap and water after. To safely get rid of the tick, either put it in alcohol, a sealed container or bag, or flush the tick down the toilet. Tell your doctor if you have a fever or rash after a tick bite. Don't let ticks ruin your fun this fall. With this Medical Minute, I'm Ike Ojachi.
The city of Bangor wants to clean up its homeless encampments this fall. Matthew Jaroncic has more.
On Monday, the city of Bangor made plans for how the city will work to make changes with the homeless encampments. The announcement came during a city council meeting where residents expressed frustration about the growing homeless problem. Bangor City Manager Debbie Laurie sees this as a community effort to solve the ongoing overcrowding of homeless on the streets of Bangor.
We engage the individuals. They become part of the work efforts with us, identifying what can be disposed of and what should be disposed of. And we just really try to do a large push to help enhance the area.
According to Bangor Homeless Shelter Executive Director Boyd Cronome, he says not all encampments are going to see this effort.
At this point, we're not looking at doing all of those campsites. We're looking at doing one of the smaller ones, perhaps, and showing up with all hands on deck, providing services for folks, and hopefully able to move some folks into housing with vouchers and things along those lines.
The city has been doing cleanups like this at different times since last fall. Most of the effort will focus on the area behind the Hope House Health and Living Center, which has the largest homeless population. However, for homeless residents like Katrina Fiona Preble, they say they have nowhere to go.
I spoke to a man, Matt, last week, and he said they were organizing a cleanup for this weekend. And if we don't get this accomplished, we'll be asked to move along. And I'll leave you with this. Move along to where?
Lori says she doesn't think moving the encampments will fix the problem, but rather focus on providing for more of their basic needs.
We really just want to make sure that the basic health issues are addressed, that if they have a buildup of debris because of the mobility of individuals in an encampment, that we have a mechanism and a means to remove that and to actually engage them as part of that community.
Matthew Jaroncic, ABC7 and Fox 22.
When we return, Conrad Zapinski has your 5-day forecast.
When it looks the part, but isn't the real thing, that's fool's golden. Jared Golden promised he'd be an independent fighter against Biden's spending, but then cast a deciding vote for Biden's newest spending bill that experts say will hike taxes $1 billion on those making under $50,000. Golden may think we're fools, but his recent vote shows Mainers what he's really made of. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Now's the time to get a great deal on taking care of your property. You need the #1 rated reliability of Kubota compact tractors so you can do it all and do it right. Z-Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Right now, bring home the Kubota VX Series for 0 down, 0% APR for 60 months, plus save up to $700.
Need to unwind from a long day of work? Come experience life at Mad Cat & Company Bar and Grill in the North Brewer Shopping Plaza, where we serve delicious food, ice-cold beer, and unique cocktails. We have a fully stocked bar, American pub-style food, exemplary service, a fun atmosphere, and plenty of weekly entertainment. We now offer Sunday morning brunch, and stick around with the kiddos for Sunday afternoon kids karaoke and dance party. Our newly remodeled banquet room offers plenty of space for your next get-together. It's never a dull moment at Mad Cat's because we are the party.
In memory of Michael G. Quirk, Quirk Auto Group will be hosting blood drives throughout their statewide locations in Augusta, Bangor, Belfast, and Portland in partnership with the American Red Cross. This event will be open to employees, family, friends, and members of the community. Sign up to donate blood or volunteer by going to quirkauto.com/Red Cross.
A Mainer who now lives in Florida is sharing his experience with Hurricane Ian. Keith Quackenbush grew up in Maine and went to Brewer High School. He now lives in Cape Coral, Florida, where he owns an HVAC business. He told us how residents are faring with Hurricane Ian and how it compares to a Maine winter.
And you deal without power. You get prepared just like you would back home. Make sure you got supplies for 3 or 4 days, and you just hunker down and just deal with it. Around here, and I would tell you, it's not a whole lot different than the storms we deal with back up in Maine. It's just instead of snow, it's a lot of wind and a lot of water.
He says they are still without power at this point. He expects to be able to leave the house sometime tomorrow once the storm passes. The Bangor Humane Society is holding its 29th annual Paws on Parade this weekend. The event is their largest fundraiser. Money from registrations and donations benefits nearly 2,000 homeless and unwanted pets they serve each year. It helps the shelter provide food, comfort, preventative care, and extraordinary medical measures when necessary. Paws on Parade is this Saturday at Husson University. Registration for the walk begins at 9 a.m. and the event goes until noon. There is a new shelter runway this year that will feature some of the dogs at the Bangor Humane Society. In honor of Betty White, you can dress as your favorite Golden Girls character. There will be prizes for Best Dog and Best Human costumes. Now let's check your full forecast with Conrad Stupinski. Conrad?
It's Thursday and welcome back. Our main weather today is brought to you by Scott's Recreation, New England's largest trailer dealer, home of Maine's lowest camper and tractor prices, locations in Turner, Manchester, Herman, and Orono, Maine. All right, lots of clear weather outside today. We are all in the clear. Just a few passing clouds, and not only in Maine, but all over the Northeast, all the way from Boston, New York, Washington, Philly. Everyone is in on the clear weather, and it is warmer as well, so enjoy it while it lasts. Temperatures have been on the chilly end the last week and a half. We've had below average temperatures in the 50s, some 60s up and down, couple of lower 70s the last 3 days, but overall it's been a little bit chilly. But now, taking a look at our temperature trend, we will be above average for the most part. Our average closer to 65 degrees. The next couple of days will be above that, besides Sunday, when we really cool down into those mid-50s. Then a warm-up continues, so by middle of next week, we will have those mid-60s. They will be back. Right now, not looking too bad with those wind speeds out there. We do have an 8-mile-per-hour wind closer to Bangor, 5-mile-per-hour in Bar Harbor, so we do have pretty calm winds outside, so it is not looking too bad. Don't have to hold your hats today, but definitely bring some sunglasses. We'll have lots of sunshine outside, temperatures around 62 degrees. Tonight's going to be a chilly one. Get ready. Bring out those jackets. Close your windows. It will be chilly. Temperatures in the mid-30s. Mostly clear skies, pretty calm winds. That's a recipe for cooler temperatures. Tomorrow, though, look at those highs in the mid-60s, so enjoy it with mostly sunny skies. Wind will not be an issue as well, so temperatures will look nice, as our extended forecast outlook does show really nice weather continuing into Saturday. Temperatures in the mid-60s, but look at Sunday. Temperatures really cool off. It's going to feel like fall. Temperatures as highs will be in the mid-50s, and then a little bit warmer in those upper 50s by Monday.
Did I hear 30s tonight? That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you this evening with Peter Dubois and Beth Jones on ABC 7 News at 6. I hope you have a great afternoon.
An ambush pregnancy?
She let her dogs loose and our dog started mating.
Mr. Johnson says he never agreed to that. You trespassed on his property.
Or a dishonest backyard breeder?
You have proof that all 3 puppies died.
No, I never said anything about proof. I said the dogs died.
No.
I would have given her a puppy if had I made an arrangement with her. I didn't.
Let's understand now what's percolating in my head, Mr. Johnson.
Next, Judge Judy.
Thursday at 5, only on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC.